You ask most people what their number one fear is. What do you think it is? Most people's number one fear is public humiliation. Okay? I don't give a fuck anymore. I'm not afraid of it.
Mel Gibson's new film, Sound of Freedom, is making waves in Hollywood. Known for his legendary roles in Mad Max and Braveheart, Gibson has always been a figure of interest, often surrounded by controversy. But this time, it's not just his acting that's grabbing attention, it's his outspoken opposition to woke culture. In a 6-year-old interview with John Lithgow, Gibson predicted a major shift in Hollywood, hinting at the changes we're seeing today.
We sit by and tolerate any kind of nonsense, but if one of their priests utters something that resembles orthodoxy, well then they spring into action, they reprimand him, and they bully him and do their best to cancel him. And it succeeds. They drum him out of the service, you know.
Gibson believes woke culture, which originally began as a movement for social justice, has now become something that limits creativity and silences differing opinions. He calls it a creativity-crushing, silence-enforcing beast and says he's had enough. In his view, Hollywood has become like a group of priests, punishing and exiling anyone who doesn't follow their strict beliefs.
Social contract. You can't get mad. You can't get mad. You can't let it get you, because you have to make a deal with everyone else, and it's almost unspoken that you are going to be fucked.
Sound of Freedom wasn't welcomed by major studios. The film doesn't just avoid political correctness, it challenges it head-on. It confronts the tough issue of child trafficking in Latin America, a topic that Gibson believes Hollywood often ignores. From the start, studios tried to bury the film, hoping it would fade into obscurity. But Gibson and his team weren't about to give up. Instead of backing down, they came up with a clever plan, a staggered release across multiple countries. This strategy kept the film in the public eye and built lasting buzz.
Sound of Freedom is smashing it at the box office and is being attacked continually by the mainstream. Is that because it's a box office success?
This strategy wasn't just clever, it was groundbreaking. Sound of Freedom not only broke box office records, but also sparked important conversations about corruption in the entertainment industry and Hollywood's hypocrisy. Unlike most films that quickly fade from theaters, this one kept the conversation going, continuing to raise awareness about the brutal reality of child trafficking.
In a mask, glasses, and a white van. It was a woman. It was a non-threatening person. So this 17-year-old girl recruits this 10-year-old and was horrified what happened. So she promises this girl candy and ice cream. But what she finds is a bunch of guys that kidnapped her, shot her full of fentanyl, and she had to hear this 10-year-old girl for the next 2 hours.
The industry's response was quick and fierce. Mainstream media launched a full attack on Sound of Freedom as the film directly challenged the woke agenda dominating Hollywood. Instead of backing down, Gibson became the film's most vocal defender, calling out the hypocrisy of an industry that claims to care about social issues, but remains silent on the serious problem of child trafficking.
It's been running for so long. They'll mute you. They'll try to mute you at all costs.
In interviews, Gibson has been open about his belief that Hollywood has lost its way, putting political agendas ahead of real storytelling. In an environment where straying from the mainstream can lead to exclusion, Gibson has come back stronger than ever. For him, the real hypocrisy in Hollywood is its willingness to cancel anyone who challenges the status quo, while conveniently ignoring important issues when it suits their interests.
From beginning to end, it's very brief. He says, women on film, either naked or dead. Both is better. And it's like, whoa!
Sound of Freedom has exposed the cracks in Hollywood's facade. While some praise its bravery, many in the industry dismiss it as fear-mongering. Yet, with support from a global audience and Mel Gibson's unwavering determination, the film didn't just survive, it thrived. It has made a lasting impact on the film industry, challenging the norms Hollywood often tries to impose.
I asked Mel to present this award to me for a reason, because when I couldn't get sober, He told me not to give up hope, and he urged me to find my faith. Didn't have to be his or anyone else's as long as it was rooted in forgiveness.
In today's Hollywood, fitting into the woke narrative often seems more important than addressing real-world issues. Mel Gibson stands out as a defiant figure in this landscape. While the industry markets itself as a champion of social justice, it often prioritizes protecting its image over confronting uncomfortable truths. By trying to suppress films that challenge its agenda, Hollywood only amplifies the messages they aim to silence. Gibson, as an unconventional filmmaker, chooses to tell stories that provoke thought and stir controversy, rather than following the industry's politically correct checklist. Take Hacksaw Ridge, for example. The film tells the true story of Desmond Doss, a man who saved 75 soldiers during World War II without firing a shot. It's raw, emotionally powerful, and unflinchingly honest about the brutal realities of war, an approach that sharply contrasts with Hollywood's often sanitized versions of history. The response to Hacksaw Ridge was overwhelmingly positive. Critics praised it, audiences loved it, and Gibson earned another Oscar nomination. More importantly, it proved that people crave authentic, impactful stories, not ones that neatly fit into a politically correct box. Now, with the Passion of the Christ, Resurrection in the works, Gibson is ready to push boundaries even further. This film, deeply rooted in Christian themes, is expected to be just as controversial, if not more, than its predecessor. In an industry that often avoids or waters down religious content, Gibson's bold choice to embrace these themes sets him apart. He's unafraid of controversy and indifferent to the backlash that will likely follow. What's also telling is the support Gibson receives from his colleagues, even when it's unpopular. Robert Downey Jr., for example, has openly praised Gibson for his support during a tough time in his life. Downey Jr. recalls how Gibson encouraged him to hold on to hope and find faith, not necessarily his faith, but faith rooted in forgiveness. This personal side of Gibson often gets overshadowed by his public controversies, revealing a different, more supportive side to the man behind the headlines.
It does feel different. I think because, I don't know, I think just because I've been around longer, it's different. Yeah. I'm more relaxed about the whole thing, because there's no point in being anything else, right?
It's true.
So, I'm not going to get all wound up about it. I'm going to just try and
Hollywood's response to figures like Mel Gibson highlights the industry's double standards. When celebrities like Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson are faced with scandalous accusations, including links to child trafficking conspiracy theories, the reactions are often mixed. Some defend them, while others stay silent or quietly distance themselves. Yet, there's rarely an uproar. In stark contrast, whenever Gibson speaks out against woke's culture, the backlash is immediate and intense. This shows the hypocrisy at play. Hollywood is quick to attack those who challenge its narrative, but often turns a blind eye when other controversial figures are involved.
About what the hell was going on, because there was a lot of stuff I couldn't understand.
The key difference with Mel Gibson is that he refuses to back down. He's seen Hollywood's darker side, dealt with public scandals, and faced blacklisting, only to come out stronger with a renewed sense of purpose. For Gibson, this fight is about more than just filmmaking. It's about preserving the true spirit of Hollywood. So, what does this ongoing battle mean for the future of the entertainment industry? One thing is clear: Mel Gibson isn't going anywhere. While Hollywood continues to push its woke agenda, Gibson stands his ground. He's not alone either. His films resonate with an audience that feels disconnected from Hollywood's current direction. Gibson's willingness to speak out, even when it's unpopular or risky, is drawing in new fans who admire his defiance and independence. The battle is far from over. Hollywood is a powerful force that often resists challenges, yet Mel Gibson has shown he's not afraid to confront the industry's biggest figures. Whether or not you agree with his views, it's clear that Gibson is making waves. The industry is beginning to feel the pressure as it tries to balance artistic freedom with social responsibility. Gibson's firm stance against the woke agenda has made him a polarizing figure. Some see him as a trailblazer, pushing boundaries, while others view him as out of touch with current values. What's undeniable, however, is that he's one of the few who dares to question Hollywood's established norms. His determination to tell bold, provocative stories, even with the risk of backlash, sparks a broader conversation about the importance of free expression and authentic storytelling in our culture. At its heart, Mel Gibson's journey is not just about challenging Hollywood's values. It's about advocating for a type of storytelling that faces difficult, often unpopular truths. His work speaks to an audience that feels increasingly ignored by Hollywood's narrowing focus. As the industry grapples with its identity, figures like Gibson are pushing it to reconsider its priorities and confront its own contradictions. Ultimately, whether you agree with him or not, Gibson's influence on Hollywood is undeniable. His determination to stand by his beliefs serves as a reminder that some voices will always push back against being silenced. What do you think? Is Mel Gibson a visionary filmmaker driving a necessary cultural shift, or is he simply out of touch with the changing face of Hollywood? Share your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates on this ongoing